Hello everyone, welcome back to Alkaline Hydroxide 784, and today in the GP overview series, we'll be looking at something that the channel obviously doesn't have: advertising. So why am I doing this topic? Because I watch a lot of YouTube videos and one of them kind of inspired me to do this topic, so yeah, I just do whatever I care for. Okay. And also because advertising is seems like a topic you would actually want to look at, because there's a lot of things you can talk about in terms of advertising. So yeah, let's look at the definition of advertising. So basically, you can just look at the link if you want more details, the dictionary link. But I'm just gonna summarize things up because we're all very familiar with it, right? So advertising is the business of getting people to buy a product or service or an idea. Of course, for an idea, it won't really be paying money for the idea, but rather you buy the idea. You get what I mean? Like you adopt the idea. And yeah, since you've seen enough advertisements, I guess I shouldn't belabor you with the details of all of this, like the rest of the definitions. Let's look at it yourself. So you might be wondering, how did advertising become so pervasive in our lives? Well, here's a quick history. You can look at the wiki link if you want, but basically advertising started off as messages for the community or political messages in the really, really ancient times. And after some time, individual businesses started advertising themselves through signboards and posters and people. Of course, it first started off with just advertising the service rather than a brand per se. And this, even in the Industrial Revolution, they were mostly just for advertising new products. Like, for example, they promote coffee or they promote something new for example, in Europe, they aren't very used to stuff that's there in the Americas or in other places. So, all these products are actually new to them, and they're promoting they're asking all these European people to go buy these products. Yeah, so after some time, when things became better for them, they started promoting their brand instead. Yeah, so there are different brands in things like cereal, coffee, and all sorts of other products, and they start promoting their own brand rather than promoting the product itself. And yeah, that's how advertising evolved. And today, with the technology like the internet, and your smartphone apps and everything, and yeah, like all those different ways the ads can come through your social media feed or through YouTube or through, of course, the smartphone ads because they're always there, or through many other different forms of coming, like just popping up randomly. As you can see, advertising kind of evolved as well and somehow managed to get us in many different ways. So let's look at the roles or the effects of advertising in modern society. So first and most obvious one would probably be consumerism and maybe in capitalism. If in that sense we have many products abound and many people are buying up these products. So the idea of consumerism is that people are consuming many products, and capitalism is based on the idea of people buy something and that money goes to whoever is running that thing or whoever selling the product. So that's the general idea of consumerism and capitalism. Of course, capitalism is a bit different from communism, because capitalism is based on private businesses and communism is based on a central business or a central government run business. So the money is then distributed equally amongst everyone. That's the idea. But rather than look at communism or capitalism or anything, we'll look at consumerism per se. And basically, advertising does indeed contribute to this whole idea of buying more products, consuming more products, because it attracts people to buy goods. So yeah, that's pretty much what happens. And they do it with their catchy jingles and their flashy colors and all sorts of interesting stuff that gets people into buying the product. And so what is the end result of all of this consumerism and things like that? Well, first of all, we have the fact that the value of things are being tagged to their monetary value. So let's say if something is, $10,000, someone would want it more than would find that more valuable than something that costs $10. Even if the thing that costs $10 might actually save your life, and the thing that costs $10,000 is pretty useless in terms of lives and stuff. So people end up associating the monetary value of the object with its actual value, and and in the grander scheme of things, this leads to the idea of people being very obsessed with getting money, earning money, making sure that, like, in their life they must get enough money so that they can buy all these products and stuff like that. And because of this, sometimes it is generally argued that this leads to a loss of happiness, and all those random WhatsApp videos circulating around. They're like, oh, true happiness doesn't come from money, it comes from your family and your friends and stuff like that. Of course, before we get too stuck on that idea, we should know that you definitely need money to buy certain things, like your necessities, your food, your shelter, your everything. But what we are looking at here specifically isn't those kind of things, but more of the stuff that actually has a lot of value yet not very much of real use to it, or more of a leisure kind of use to it. Yeah, so novelty kind of use to it. And yeah, people do give a lot of value to earning money, and because of that they try to work a lot. They end up stressing themselves and making work their life, and that leads to a loss of happiness. And yeah, that is one effect of consumerism per se. And another effect would be the fact that people start being classist, in the sense there's a act of classism, which is kind of like racism but for classes instead. And like people look down on people who earn less money than as compared to them and stuff like that. So there is that whole problem as well. And yeah, like another thing that happens due to consumerism is an increase in wastage per se. So when people buy something impulsively, because ads actually make people buy things impulsively more often than not. Well, when they do that, sometimes they don't actually need the product. So they just buy it because the ad tells them to buy it, and they're like, oh great, I want to buy this, so they just buy it immediately. And it's even more possible when you have online shopping and everything. And because of this increased buying, sometimes there's a lot of things that don't get used, and that leads to increased wastage of products, or just many products are bought but are not used in the end. They're just sitting there taking up space, fueling the hoarder mentality of some people. You all know who you are, in a sense. I mean, we all like to hoard certain things. And yeah, consumerism has kind of contributed to that as well. So yeah, that's one other effect of it. And now that I think of it, another effect of consumerism is really the need to buy products, in the sense, and that can be somewhat detrimental, especially when there are sales and things like that. So sometimes, okay, this is slightly different from associating monetary value to the actual value, but more of trying to get a good deal. So some people try to get a good deal, and they really want that product, and they try to get it at the lowest price possible so that they can save money and then use it to buy other products instead. And this would lead to certain problems, like for example the Black Friday issue. So like on Black Friday, generally there are really huge sales, and in America especially, there are many times where a lot of people try to go and buy goods at one go, and this leads to like human stampedes and stuff like that. So that is quite problematic and can lead to actual people dying, and that's not good. So yeah, you can see consumerism on its own has its own issues and stuff. And advertising does contribute to consumerism to some extent. So yeah, as you can see, advertising does make people want to buy stuff, but out of all of the people who want to buy stuff, the easiest the easiest audience that they can actually capture and get to buy stuff would of course be the kids. Well, speaking of kids, well, let's go to the next topic, which is about advertising and health. So kids are a pretty impressionable bunch. They like all those cheerful jingles and some mascot that looks so adorable, just selling them stuff like toys, cereal, soda, whatnot. Yeah, all kinds of stuff. And for toys, well, I suppose the main negative impact would be that their parents' money is wasted, especially if the toy is pretty terrible and crappy. So yeah, when that happens, once again you have wastage and you have money wastage as well. But when it comes to food and Coca-Cola and stuff like that, if it's not particularly healthy stuff, you know where we are going with this. It leads to unhealthy habits in the kids because they're attracted to the products, and even if the parents tell them no, you cannot buy it or something, eventually they either try to buy it on their own if they get pocket money or something, or sometimes like the parents can deal with maybe the kid really just throws a full-on tantrum or something, and then the parents eventually have to buy it for them. Or sometimes even the parents themselves get allured by the ads, or they themselves like that product. For example, if it's something like Coca-Cola or something like that, may be possible. And in a way, it kind of contributes to the obesity epidemic and things like that. So yeah, so if you don't believe me, well, let me just tell you one thing. Do you know why breakfast cereal is a thing? Like why people like to eat cereal for breakfast, even though cereal is literally quite sugary and stuff like that? It's because of ads, of course. In fact, advertisements were the things that actually promoted eating breakfast, and in particular eating cereal for breakfast. So yeah, and a lot of people follow this nowadays. So ads are actually more powerful than you think. Right. Okay, fine, food is one thing, but let us look at something different, which is something much more harmful, I would say, tobacco products. And yeah, you would notice that there's a lack of advertising for this kind of product, and that's for good reason, of course. In the past, it used to be different. Actually, I think they were really advertised, like, I don't know, in the 1960s or something, and that led to a very prevalent use of tobacco in a sense, especially in the form of cigarettes and stuff. But of course, sooner or later, people realized it was bad for health, and therefore governments were, of course, they didn't want people just dying from tobacco use, so they sought to abolish tobacco advertising, which definitely helped quite a bit. It helped to decrease the cigarette use amongst, at least for the teenagers, I think. And I supposedly think I'm not sure if this is actually a correct statistic, but generally amongst teenagers the cigarette use has decreased to 10% or below. But amongst people who already are using it, it doesn't really decrease it as much because they're already addicted to it, so it's a bit hard to get them off the usage of such products. So yeah, that is actually quite interesting to know, because removing the ads really helps in decreasing the usage of such products amongst new users in the sense. But okay, cigarettes are one thing, but today there happens to be a different kind of a thing that supplies nicotine, and that thing is called the Juul, or else called, I think it would be like an e-cigarette or something. So yeah, so kids, okay, maybe it's a bit much to call them kids. I mean, teenagers in America are definitely captivated by the advertising of the Juul and stuff. And okay, I wanted to link a video, but the thing is, I watched that video on Netflix, so I can't really link it here. But basically, like there's an article where you can actually read about it. But I'm just gonna explain what I saw in the video, what they told in the video. So basically, in the video, they mentioned that in America especially, Juul attracted a lot of youths because they kind of advertised it in a very nice, clean way, and they have like many flavors and stuff like that, and they even have scents, and that kind of distinguishes it from what you would considered a traditional cigarette per se, because we all know that cigarettes smell terrible. So yeah, but like the jewels were advertised to not be smelling terrible and actually smelling quite nice and having some fruity flavors and stuff like that. And I don't understand how that works, but okay. And that means that they kind of had a less harsh taste as well, and they were quite attractive to teenagers in the sense. So in other words, the jewel basically drained the teenagers' wallets and sanities at the same time. Yeah, because they end up getting addicted to it as well. So they really lose a lot of their money, and they also probably lose their sanity because they're addicted to it. Okay. So yeah, advertising still screws us over somehow. How sad is that? Really sad. Okay. So you might be wondering, oh no, advertising leads to a lot of bad stuff. So what about good stuff? Is there a way that, advertising actually helps promote good health practices or good healthy products in the sense? Well, sure, it definitely can. Most of them tend to be like government sponsored ads and things like that, because the government obviously wants people to not die so that they can spend less money on the people, you know, dying per se, or at least they can spend less money on their healthcare expenses. And yeah, they're actually quite effective. I mean, seriously, even if you think they're not effective, or just like seriously, don't tell me you and your parents and literally everyone else wasn't inclined to go get a tracker and join the National Steps Challenge. Yeah. So they're definitely effective. Like this is it happens because there's advertising literally everywhere. You can see it when you're going in the train, see an ad for National Steps Challenge. You can see it in YouTube, you can see it in your, I don't know where else, your social media and your emails and in many other places. And that actually does lead to some positive effect, supposedly, by getting people to join this National Steps Challenge. And yeah, therefore, we can conclude that advertising does have some merits to it if you use it for a good purpose in the sense that if you use it for the right cause, you can definitely get something good out of it. But let's take a quick, what is that called? A quick aside from that and note that sometimes different companies or different certain companies would promote their products as healthy when in retrospect it's not really healthy or anything for that matter. So for example, if you know Nutella or Nutella or however you want to pronounce that, originally I think it was promoted as something that was healthy per se, or at least made of like hazelnuts and stuff like that. But in reality, Nutella is like really really sugary. So now like because of that, I think there was this whole lawsuit and everything, and now their ads just say it's delicious, and I guess that makes more sense than saying it's healthy or something. Yeah, so it's a problem when certain products are, advertised to be healthy when they're actually not healthy. So, anyways, it's not really just about health or ill health per se that is perpetuated by ads. There are also many other trends created by ads. And I'm just gonna give you two other examples because I already mentioned one, which is breakfast cereal. So, two other examples. The first one would be the Christmas trend of Santa Claus wearing red. Yeah, there's actually a video explaining why that's the case. But in summary, basically the fact was that Santa wasn't originally like necessarily wearing red per se. He could be wearing blue or purple or black or whatever, and he doesn't have to look like fat or anything. He can be skinny or can look like very strict or stern or whatever. Like many different variations of Santa actually existed. But the reason why like the Santa that looks so happy and is like wearing this red coat and is fat and jolly, well, that's because of advertising. And advertising by none other than Coca-Cola. Yeah. I guess you could kind of see how that happened. Like the color of Coca-Cola really does correspond to the coat that Santa is wearing. Although I don't think they were trying to advertise it because of their company color, but more because that was actually one of the more popular ones, I think. But in a way, it really sealed the deal as to what Santa looks like. So Yeah, here we go. We have the Christmas trend now. So another trend is about diamonds. Of course, we know that diamonds are actually somewhat of a monopoly right now. So there's this one company, the Bria company, I think. So they're the ones who are kind of having a monopoly on the diamonds and increasing the value of the diamonds artificially. So it's not really just about the beer per se, but more of advertising promoted buying diamonds for relationships per se, for marriage as your wedding ring. And that eventually led to people, having this tradition of buying a diamond ring to propose to their significant other and also for their marriage in general. So yeah, there's another video for that as well, which is pretty cool. You can learn so much from YouTube. Anyways, so like this, there are many other trends that are created by advertising, and if you really want to know more, you can just watch some YouTube videos and find out, I guess. Or you can just search online, you'll probably find something. So yeah, talking about YouTube and stuff, let's look at a different topic, which is advertisements by influencers or YouTubers per se. Of course, usually the flag goes towards the influencers because they're the ones who are, really, personally going and selling the product on their Instagram post, basically. So, yeah, one of the problems that can occur is when influencers sell ineffective products. I think the one that I remember the most is the, the, the thing where Kim Kardashian was selling like all these hair growth gummies or something. And I watched a video on that as well. So yeah, this is how I learn about stuff, because I don't actually go to social media that much. Oops. So yeah, so these gummies were promoted for hair growth, but apparently they don't work and they don't even contain the ingredients that were mentioned in her post and stuff. So yeah, this is a bit messy because like influencers sometimes use their popularity to promote a product, and of course they get money from it, so obviously why wouldn't they do it? It's really just capitalism here. Capitalism is really winning people here. Oh no. So because of this, their fans kind of trust the influencers and then buy the products, and then in the end the product doesn't work and they've just wasted their money. So yeah, that's one thing that can happen. And another thing that can happen is when certain YouTubers can, like, they sell gambling schemes to kids. This is like in the most crude way possible of selling it. And this is about the uh like the way it kind of worked was the like basically Jake Paul, he kind of told kids that, oh, there's this cool website where you can go and get prizes and stuff like that. And that website is actually it's kind of like gambling in disguise, because it kind of has this little mystery box thing that you can open, but you have to pay money for it. And many a times, if you're not very lucky, you won't get much from the mystery box, but in the end you waste money. So this is basically gambling. But this is being sold to kids, like this is being advertised to kids via a YouTuber. And yeah, there's a video for that as well. There's like videos for everything. Yes, you can totally watch about it. And that's not good, right? Because kids are impressionable, as we mentioned earlier, and trying to manipulate these poor little kids is not a good thing. Oh well. But of course, it's not like YouTubers and influencers are out there to get you or something by selling miserable products, or even like wasteful products in the sense. There are definitely many YouTubers who definitely like genuinely want you to experience the same thing that they're using as well. And of course, even if they are sponsored per se and they're paid for it, sometimes there's quite a few YouTubers who are quite selective about which sponsorships they accept, especially if they like to use the product, then they'll accept it. If not, they won't accept it. There's definitely certain YouTubers who do that. And many a times they do advertise pretty useful products in a sense, and products that probably only adults would want to buy. So at least people can make informed choices to whether to buy it or not. And sometimes even if no one really buys it, at least they get to earn some money from the sponsorship. And people do know that YouTuber always advertises this one service, and they're fine with it. They're like, okay, just skip the ad and then watch the rest of the video. Yeah. So in a way, it's not all bad in the sense. It does give these influencers and YouTubers some money that they otherwise may not really get from the AdSense in the sense. Like, if you think about it, people don't really like watching that, the ad that comes before the video. And because of that, sometimes the YouTuber themselves doesn't get money from it. But yeah, that's why they end up having to go to sponsorships. Or some of them sell their own products, which are actually pretty good to look at least. They seem pretty decent in a sense. So yeah, it really depends on the person who's selling the products and what their values speak for themselves in a sense. Sorry, what their values speak for them. Yeah. Okay. So that's it. That's what I've had to say for that part. So next thing we can look at, since we're looking at online stuff, is personalized ads. Right, so the first statement is I sometimes get very unusual ads. Like, for example, I get, like, before I watch the video, there'll be that ad that comes up, right? Sometimes I get ads from Thermo Fisher, and they're selling all those the stuff that you use in the lab for doing bio stuff. But the thing is, I don't think I can really go around buying that because, I guess it's probably because I watch a lot of science and stuff, so they probably think I'm some scientist who works in a lab and stuff. But at least I actually prefer watching that to some of the other ads that come out there, so maybe they have it right for once. Anyways, for the most part, ads seem to be somewhat based on what you watch. So maybe if I like to watch a lot of science content, they'll show me more sciencey ads. Or which ads you don't skip. So if I'm like okay with watching that 15-second ad because I want the YouTuber to get money, then I'll just like play that ad through. And that ad will probably come like another 10 times before I get bored of it. And also demographics. So let's say my age, or the fact that like your sex or gender, and also where you live, like the geographical location as well. So if you think about it, there's a lot of data that's kind of that kind of fuels how these ads are sorted and everything. But the problem is you still don't get really good ads, like ads that actually make you want to buy stuff. So in other words, they're pretty bad AI in a sense. The AI is really just failing big time on actually choosing the right ads for you. Oh well. Anyways, but because of these, problematic AIs and everything, since they fail miserably, it seems a bit not very worthwhile to give your data to this AI. And a lot of data in general is of course needed to, sell ads to certain people and things like that. And another place where data gets, your privacy gets a little bit, stolen in the sense is when you get all those messages about loans and illegal gambling, even after you've signed on to the do not spam or some that registry thingy, you still get those messages. And in your emails, you get all those stupid emails that you want to unsubscribe from, but they probably don't let you unsubscribe from. Oh well. Yeah, so there's all of these ways that data can be used in a sense, and some people are really concerned about their data being used for all of these, advertisements and stuff like that. And of course, there have been actual privacy breaches. And it's not really just about the ads per se. Like, of course, the ads may take some of your data and breach your privacy for, existing in the sense to get ads that are targeted to that person. But something that's even more dangerous than the ads themselves is when someone else hacks the ads to spread something that is not good, like how do I put this? Like a bad message in the sense, a message that kind of creates dissent and trouble in the sense. So hacking is probably easier via the ad maybe, so that is even more dangerous than the ads themselves. So there are definitely quite a few concerns about like whether your privacy is safe when all these personalized ads and things like that work. And yeah, it's a bit hard to escape from this if you use the internet, so just gotta deal with it for now, and hope that maybe at least the big companies will try to at least avoid the hacking from happening. Yeah, of course, there's some ways that you can try to minimize your privacy breach, which would be probably going on incognito and stuff like that, and regularly clearing your history and things like that. But no one really does that, so I don't think this problem is gonna really get resolved anytime soon. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, there'll probably be a separate episode on privacy itself, so do look forward to that. Um, yeah, I think that's about it. So in conclusion, for advertising, there are definitely many pros and cons to its existence, but we can all agree that advertising really has permeated into every spore of our lives, and yeah, it's just everywhere. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I have to say. So advertising is also really powerful as well. And I think that's the second conclusion you can make. It really has the potential to change an entire generation of people to do one particular action or have a particular trend or habit in a sense. So yeah, that's the final conclusion. Yeah, so if you found this video interesting and useful, please press the like button and subscribe. And with that, I would like to say thank you and bye.